waves arrive, one after another, timeless and patient, whispering to the shore as if sharing secrets. Each ripple carries a memory, older than stone, older than stars, carried gently across endless horizons. The ocean breathes with a rhythm that no heart can match, a vast pulse echoing through every corner of the world. Listen closely, and you may hear a name within the foam, a voice hidden beneath the rolling tides. It is not a shout, not thunder, but a soft murmur, steady as the pull of the moon's silver hand. The name is Poseidon, not as a figure of wrath, but as a presence eternal, woven deep into the sea. He is the tide that returns, the current that guides, the stillness that waits when all else is restless. From the smallest shell to the farthest horizon, his spirit lingers in every fold of water and salt. The sea does not speak in words, but in waves, in patterns repeating like an eternal hymn. As we begin this journey, step closer to the shore, lean into the sound, and let the story unfold. The tide rises with a whisper, brushing the sand, leaving trails that vanish as quickly as they appear. Every crest carries a voice, quiet but steady, echoing through the hush of dawn and the calm of night. It is not the roar of storms, nor the crash of thunder, but the tender breath of an ancient storyteller. The sea leans close, and its words fall like salt upon the skin, soft and lingering, impossible to forget. Waves do not hurry. They return again and again, patient as time, teaching the rhythm of eternity itself. This is the whisper of the tide, a hymn older than memory, sung in languages no tongue has ever spoken. Lean closer, and you may hear it, a cadence woven through foam, repeating like a promise never broken. The whisper does not belong to one place or one shore, for it drifts with the winds, reaching every horizon. Sailors once bowed their heads at its sound, believing each murmur was a sign, a compass written in water. Children played along the edge of the surf, not knowing the tide was humming lullabies older than their blood. The whisper can be tender as a mother's voice, rocking a child to sleep in arms woven of waves and light. Or it can be distant, as if calling from beyond the edge of sight, urging hearts to follow and wander farther. Some hear comfort in it, like a gentle hand upon the shoulder, guiding the weary back towards safe harbors. Others hear longing, an ache that draws them outward, promising wonders hidden beneath the shimmering blue. The tide is never silent. Even in stillness, it breathes. Even in calm, its pulse trembles beneath the surface. What you hear depends not on the sea, but on yourself. For the ocean only mirrors the soul that listens. Stand by the shore with a heavy heart, and the whisper may sound like sorrow rising from the deep. Stand with joy, and it may shimmer like laughter, bubbles of silver light dancing in each rushing wave. The tide knows no judgment. It does not choose what to reveal, only reflects what it finds within you. That is why its whisper feels endless, changing, yet always the same, a mirror polished by eternity. To hear the tide is to remember that you are small, yet also part of something without beginning or end. Each ripple carries the touch of moonlight, each swell the shadow of stars, scattered across its living face. Listen long enough, and you may sense not just sound, but memory, echoes of all who came before you. Ancient travelers, lost ships, wandering spirits, all folded gently into the sea's unbroken chorus. The whisper does not weep for them, nor praise them, but simply carries their stories onward without end. This is how the tide remembers. Without monuments, without words, only the eternal rise and fall of water. Perhaps this is why people return to the shore, again and again, seeking something they cannot name. They walk the sand, pause by the edge, lean close as if waiting for a secret meant only for them. The whisper greets them all the same, never tiring, never fading, always beginning where it last left off. It is not a song meant to be solved, but a companion meant to be felt, flowing with each breath of the sea. The tide speaks softly, but its truth endures longer than stone, deeper than roots, older than dreams. And as you stand within its presence, you realize you are listening not just to water, but to forever. The ocean speaks in many voices, but within the foam, a single name drifts again and again, like a secret. It is a name shaped by wind, carried by current, whispered through shells, always returning, always the same. Poseidon, the syllables move like water, smooth yet powerful, flowing from shorelines into endless horizons. This name is not thunder, it is not command, it is a quiet breath, patient, calm, eternal as the tide itself. People once thought of Poseidon as a god with storms in his hands, shaking the seas with sudden fury. But in truth, the sea reveals him differently, steady, balanced, woven into every drop of salt and wave. He is not anger, nor wrath, nor punishment, but the gentle rhythm that binds water to moon and earth. Imagine walking by the shore and hearing your own name return to you, shaped by 1,000 waves. This is how Poseidon lives within the ocean, not as a figure apart, but as the very soul of the sea. Each wave is his gesture, each current his thought, each tide his memory pressed gently against the land. When fishermen once sailed at dawn, they would pause, listening for that name hidden within the rising mist. They knew it was not merely myth, but presence, a truth carried silently in every drop of glimmering spray. Children digging in the sand would stop and listen when the foam hissed their names, almost like laughter. And in the distance, far beyond sight, sailors swore the horizon itself spoke, calling them gently forward. The name Poseidon was not just sound, but a compass, pointing not north or south, but toward belonging. It reminded them they were part of something larger, a song too vast for a single voice to contain. The sea did not demand worship or fear. It simply offered itself, endless, inviting, alive with quiet care. To speak Poseidon was to speak of water's eternal return, of waves that never ceased and never tired. He was the breath of tides, the calm after storms, the shimmer of sunlight across endless moving glass. Listen close, and the name does not roar. It flows, repeats, hums like the pulse of your own quiet heart. Even those who doubted myths felt it, standing at dusk with sand between their toes, hearing something more. The syllables moved through air, through water, through memory, uniting strangers beneath one endless sky. It was not a story of conquest, nor a warning of power, but a reminder of harmony, steady and true. The name Poseidon became a melody without beginning, without end, circling within the tides forever. At night, when the moon pulled at the waters, the name stretched farther, echoing through silver reflections. At dawn, when colors broke across the waves, the name shimmered like a thread binding light to the deep. Travelers far from home carried the name in their hearts, a sound of guidance, a rhythm of return. For Poseidon was never gone, never absent. He was present in every drop, every ripple, every tide. His name did not fade, for water cannot fade. It transforms, rises, falls, but always finds its way again. The name in the foam is an invitation to listen, to remember, to walk closer, and to trust the eternal sea. When the waves call, they are not commanding. They are welcoming, reminding us we belong to the vast. Poseidon waits not as a ruler on a throne, but as the tide itself, flowing patiently without end or beginning. And when you hear your name carried back in the foam, you will know you are part of his eternal song. The sea was not born in silence, but in movement, a cradle of the deep where life first opened its eyes. Before mountains rose and forests spread, the ocean already sang, its waves a lullaby to an empty world. Each current carried promise, weaving invisible threads, knitting fragments of possibility into living form. Tiny sparks drifted in the water, fragile and unseen, yet destined to become the foundation of all breath. The cradle of the deep held them gently, rocking them in tides as steady as the beat of eternity. The sea did not rush their becoming, for time in water is endless, patient as the slow roll of waves. Here, light pierced the surface and scattered like jewels, falling softly into the waiting arms below. Beneath the shimmer, shadows moved, not yet creatures, not yet names, only the first shapes of dreams. The ocean was mother, father, and sky all at once, vast enough to hold every seed of existence. Its song was not words but rhythm, a pulse repeated endlessly, calling life to rise from stillness. Coral began as whispers of color, shells as soft spirals of sound, weaving harmony into the deep. Every breath you take is a memory of that moment, a gift first taught by the waves themselves. The sea carried its children not in cages, but in currents, teaching them freedom through gentle embrace. Fish traced patterns in the blue, stars mirrored above, and the two reflected each other without end. Poseidon's spirit lingered in these waters, not as ruler, but as guardian of the fragile beginnings. His presence was felt in the balance of tides, in the careful rhythm that protected all who were small. From the first plankton to the great whales yet to come, each life found place within the deep cradle. The ocean was vast, but it was never empty. It was a womb, a sanctuary, a library of creation itself. Every ripple became a story, every bubble a fragment of memory, rising and fading into silence. The sea was patient. It knew eternity. It had no need to hurry the unfolding of its hidden wonders. Where land was still silent and barren, the ocean bloomed with light, motion, and countless voices. It was a world unseen by early eyes, yet rich with harmony, humming beneath the quiet sky above. The cradle of the deep was not made of stone or wood, but of water, endless and always in motion. It rocked its children not once, but forever, never tiring, never ceasing, never letting go. Those who listen today, standing at the edge of waves, still hear echoes of that first ancient song. It calls softly, reminding us that our roots are salt, our blood is tide, our breath is borrowed water. We are not apart from the sea, but born of it, carried forward like foam drifting toward the shore. Poseidon's gift was not power, but continuity, a thread unbroken, weaving past into present endlessly. Every creature, every voice, every heart still beats to the same rhythm first sung beneath the waves. And so, the ocean remains cradle and keeper, its lullaby eternal, its memory deeper than time itself. The sea does not forget beginnings, nor does it abandon them. It holds them all, always, within its tide. To stand by the shore is to lean close to your origin, to remember the song that first gave you form. The cradle of the deep is not gone. It breathes still, rocking life forward, carrying us into forever. The wave does not end when it touches the sand, for even in its retreat, it prepares to rise again. It folds back into the deep, gathering strength, carrying with it whispers of distant shores unseen. Each return is not repetition, but renewal, a cycle that writes eternity in patterns upon the earth. Mountains crumble, forests fall, stars collapse. Yet the wave continues, unbroken in its patient rhythm. It is the eternal wave, tireless, faithful, carrying yesterday into today and today into tomorrow. Children see it as play, chasing foam with laughter, unaware they are dancing with ancient memory. Travelers hear it as guidance, a sound that anchors them when the horizon feels endless and uncertain. To stand before the wave is to feel time itself, not as a clock, but as breath, inhaling and exhaling. It teaches that nothing is final, not even endings, for each fall is followed by a rise again. The eternal wave is a teacher without words, carving stone, shaping coastlines, painting silence. It does not shout, but its presence is unmistakable, steady as a heartbeat beneath all living things. Those who once feared its strength learned over years that it was not destruction, but transformation. The wave wears cliffs into sand, not by violence, but by patience, returning again and again without haste. In its motion lies a lesson. Power need not be sudden. It can be gentle, unyielding, and infinite. The eternal wave is Poseidon's breath, a reminder that the sea does not age, but flows without end. Its crest may sparkle in sunlight or darken beneath storm clouds, yet always it comes, always it returns. No moment is identical, yet all moments are connected, woven together by the rhythm of tides. Even in stillness, the ocean remembers, preparing its next embrace, its next touch upon the land. Listen, and you will hear not chaos, but music, a melody shaped by distance, time, and endless return. The eternal wave is not bound to one place. It travels, reaching shores far beyond what eyes can see. Its motion ties continents, carrying seeds, memories, and echoes between lands that never meet. It connects all who dwell near water, whispering the same song in different tongues, but always familiar. Generations have come and gone, yet each one has stood at the edge, watching the wave arrive. They felt the same pull, the same awe, the same quiet knowledge that they were part of something vast. The eternal wave asks nothing, demands nothing, but offers presence, a constant in a shifting world. It promises that life, though fragile, is also enduring, shaped by cycles greater than our understanding. Some call it destiny, others eternity. But in truth, it is simply the sea being itself forevermore. The wave does not seek applause, nor fear, nor worship, only to exist, to move, to continue. Poseidon is in this motion, not distant, but here, carried within every rise and every fall of water. The eternal wave is his gift, not wealth, not conquest, but the gentle assurance that nothing truly ends. Stand by the shore long enough, and you will feel it, the pulse of time moving quietly beneath your feet. And when you leave, it follows, echoing in memory, reminding you that eternity is never far away. The ocean holds no map upon its surface, yet within its heart lies a compass made not of iron, but of water. It does not point north or south, but guides through rhythm, currents flowing with invisible intention. Sailors once trusted stars above, yet always they felt the subtle pull beneath their wooden vessels. The sea has paths unseen, rivers within rivers, channels of guidance written in salt and endless blue. This compass does not rest in hands, but in the motion of waves, in the silence between each swell. It turns not by magnet, but by memory, as if the ocean recalls every journey taken across its skin. Listen long enough, and you will hear direction in the whispers, as if Poseidon himself were guiding. Each current leads somewhere, carrying seeds, ships, and dreams from one horizon to another. This is the compass of water, patient and vast, guiding without command, without need for reward. Travelers learn to trust it, letting the tide carry them farther than sight or map could imagine. Sometimes it brought them home, sometimes to shores unknown, but always it carried them onward. The compass was not cruel, nor kind, only steady, a reminder that the sea remembers all paths. Poseidon's hand was in this current, not forcing, but suggesting, offering direction to those who listened. Waves might seem wild, yet beneath them flows order, a design hidden in every turning tide. Birds sensed it when they flew across the sea, riding winds shaped by the same unseen compass. Whales followed it as they sang their long songs, echoing through deep corridors of blue silence. Even driftwood, cast adrift by storms, found its way to distant shores, guided by this quiet force. The compass of water teaches that movement is never meaningless, that all journeys leave a trace. It shows that the sea does not forget, but carries each story, each traveler, within its endless memory. Those who feared being lost found comfort in its pull, feeling that they were never truly abandoned. For even when the horizon was empty, the compass whispered, "Forward, forward, always forward." Its language is not one of words, but of feeling, a trust placed in something larger than yourself. The compass does not promise safety, but it promises direction, a path that belongs to eternity. Some say this is destiny. Others say it is Poseidon's way of reminding us that all paths are connected. The water does not end where the land begins. It bends, it returns, it joins the circle once again. The compass of water knows no borders, no walls, no nations, only the unity of endless flow. It has carried voices, songs, and prayers across generations, linking strangers with unseen threads. When you stand by the sea, you feel it too. The pull not outward or inward, but deeper, into belonging. Poseidon offers this compass freely, a gift of motion, a reminder that direction lies within patience. The sea guides without demanding, leads without chains, its compass always turning, always true. To follow it is not to lose yourself, but to discover that you were never lost to begin with. The compass of water does not fail, for as long as waves rise and fall, it will guide us still. And when you close your eyes and listen, you may feel it, the subtle turning of the eternal sea. Beneath the rolling surface lies a kingdom unseen, a realm where sunlight bends into colors few have witnessed. It is not built of stone or steel, but of coral rising like cathedrals, glowing in shades of fire and dusk. Fish weave through arches and tunnels, their scales flashing like fragments of broken rainbows in motion. The seafloor hums softly, alive with creatures that speak in silence, in rhythm, in dance without sound. Every shell tells a story, carved by time, polished by currents, carried to rest in quiet sanctuaries. This is Poseidon's hidden city, not ruled by crown or throne, but by balance, patience, and flow. There are no gates, no guards, for the ocean itself is both protector and teacher to all who dwell here. Creatures of great size move slowly, as though carrying the weight of centuries within their calm presence. Tiny sparks of light drift in the dark, lanterns of life guiding travelers through infinite blue corridors. The city breathes, not with lungs, but with tides, inhaling, exhaling, keeping its rhythm eternal. To wander here is to walk in a dream, where silence speaks louder than any words upon the land. It is not empty, but filled with voices too vast, too subtle, for untrained ears to truly hear. Poseidon's hand shapes this kingdom gently, allowing it to grow, to change, to remain forever alive. No stone temple could match this beauty. For every coral branch is a column, every wave a hymn. This is not a place of conquest, but of harmony, a balance between motion and stillness, growth and rest. Creatures thrive not through dominance, but through connection, each life depending upon another. A sea turtle drifts past, its path slow yet certain, as if it carries history etched within its shell. Schools of fish move as one, turning in patterns more graceful than any dance performed above. The hidden city teaches that unity is strength, not by force, but by the shared rhythm of survival. Those who glimpse it feel wonder, as if a secret has been offered, fragile and sacred in its silence. It is a reminder that beauty need not be loud, for true beauty often hides in the quietest places. Poseidon grants this vision rarely, allowing only those who listen to the sea's song to see its heart. The hidden city does not seek recognition, only to exist, to endure, to shine in shadows. Its spires grow slowly, built over centuries. Yet stronger than towers raised by hurried hands on land, the ocean remembers every shape, every color, adding layers to its living architecture. Storms may shake the surface, yet below, the city endures, swaying gently, untouched by rage. This resilience is its power, soft yet unbreakable, fragile yet eternal, a truth written in coral. The hidden city is not lost, nor is it found, for it has always been, waiting beneath waves of time. Those who return from its depths carry silence with them, a stillness that words cannot contain. They find themselves changed, for to see eternity is to carry a piece of it within forevermore. And so the city remains unseen by most, yet eternal, resting in the embrace of Poseidon's sea. The ocean has a language of its own, written not in letters, but in rhythms that echo across the ages. It is a language of waves, of whispers beneath the surface, of voices carried far by unseen currents. Every tide tells a story, every ripple carries a message, though few above the shore know how to hear. Dolphins speak in clicks and songs, weaving sentences no book has ever captured yet fully understood. Whales call across miles of water, their deep tones reaching like bridges between worlds unseen. Even the smallest creature adds a verse, tiny shells murmuring when the tide turns them on the sand. Together, these voices form a symphony, not chaotic, but ordered, like a vast conversation of eternity. It is Poseidon's language, a song older than land, older than stars, carved into the heart of the sea. To listen is to surrender, to quiet the noise of thought, and let the ocean place its voice within you. Sailors long ago spoke of hearing it, not as sound, but as feeling, guiding them when sight was lost. They claimed the sea could answer questions not with words, but with the direction of a rising wave. A whisper in the foam, a hush in the deep, all became sentences to those who learned its rhythm. The language of the sea cannot be owned, for it shifts, changing tone with storm, calm, dawn, and dusk. It is never repeated the same, yet always familiar, like a song sung differently, yet known by heart. The great silence between waves is part of it too, pauses as important as the words themselves. Poseidon speaks in these silences, reminding us that what is unsaid can hold greater weight than sound. Every generation hears it differently, shaped by their own time, yet always they hear the same truth. That truth is endurance, continuity, the eternal motion that binds all things in cycles without end. Fishermen hear comfort in the language, trusting the sea to give and take as seasons demand. Children hear play in the crash of surf, laughter in the foam that chases their feet along the sand. Mystics hear prophecy in the roar of storms, believing Poseidon hides secrets in the thunder of waves. But all who listen truly listen, find themselves humbled, for the sea does not flatter nor deceive. Its language is honesty, raw and patient, reminding us of our place within something greater. The language of the sea is vast enough to hold grief, joy, memory, and hope in the same breath. It carries the voices of those gone before, folded gently into the tide, never forgotten, never lost. For the ocean does not discard, it transforms, weaving old voices into new songs for new ears. Poseidon allows this language to endure, for in it lies the heartbeat of his eternal presence. No library could hold its verses, no poet could capture its full measure, yet all may hear it. One need not dive deep or sail far, only listen, truly listen, when the tide draws near the shore. The sea will speak, softly or with force, yet always with meaning, always with memory. This is the language of the eternal, Poseidon's voice carried upon the breath of endless water. And if you pause long enough, letting silence guide you, you too may hear it calling, even now. Legends tell of treasures hidden not in gold or jewels, but in the quiet embrace of the ocean's depths. These are not riches to be owned, but gifts, memories of the sea woven into shapes of wonder and light. Pearls glow like moons resting in shells, born from patience, time, and the rhythm of gentle tides. Corals shine with colors no painter could invent, each branch a story written in silence beneath the waves. Some treasures are not seen but felt, the warmth of currents carrying whispers from distant horizons. Others are songs, faint echoes of whales and dolphins, preserved in the corridors of endless blue. Sailors once dreamed of sunken ships filled with fortune, yet found greater wealth in simple beauty. For the true treasures of Poseidon were never meant to be hoarded, but to remind of eternity's flow. The sea guards these gifts, not with locks or chains, but with depth, with mystery, with endless patience. To seek them with greed is to return empty, for the ocean reveals only to those who come with wonder. A shell in hand is not just decoration, but the memory of the wave that shaped it over countless years. A shard of sea glass carries the story of storms, of breaking, of smoothing, of becoming whole again. Even the salt that lingers on skin after a swim is treasure, proof of touch from the eternal sea. Poseidon scatters these gifts freely, not choosing one over another, but offering to all who will notice. Children find treasure in driftwood castles, while poets find it in the hush between waves. Lovers find it in moonlit tides, a mirror of time reflecting both their faces and the stars above. Fishermen see treasure in a calm morning sea, when the horizon promises safety and gentle return. Travelers see it in sunsets painted across endless water, colors shifting like whispers of eternity. These treasures cannot be sold, for they vanish when measured in coin, yet endure in memory. The greatest treasure is presence, the feeling of belonging when standing at the edge of the tide. It is knowing the same wave touches countless shores, binding strangers together in unseen unity. The sea gives endlessly, not demanding praise, only asking us to notice, to carry its gifts in silence. Poseidon smiles in these moments, for the true wealth of the ocean lies not in taking, but in seeing. Every stone smoothed by tide is treasure, proof that even the smallest can be shaped into beauty. Every breath drawn by the shore is treasure, filled with salt, with memory, with eternal rhythm. Some treasures remain hidden, deep beyond reach, waiting for those who seek without hunger. Others wash ashore daily, unnoticed by many, yet priceless to the few who pause to look. The ocean teaches that treasure is not rare. It is abundant, it is everywhere, if only eyes are open. No map can lead to it, no compass can guide. For the path is not outward but inward, into wonder. Poseidon's treasures are eternal because they cannot be lost. They live in waves, in wind, in us. And so the sea continues, scattering its riches without measure, waiting for us to truly see. Time moves differently by the sea, not in hours or days, but in rhythms written upon the shore. The tide marks time with its rise and fall, a heartbeat steady and unbroken through endless ages. Waves carve calendars into stone, etching patience into cliffs that stand witness to eternity. Shells wash ashore like letters from the past, each carrying whispers of a journey long completed. The sea remembers everything, not in pages, but in motion, storing memory within its constant flow. Every ripple is both present and past, a continuation of all waves that came before it. To walk beside the ocean is to feel history beneath your feet, softened into sand by countless tides. Time on land feels hurried, yet here it stretches, folding hours into silence and breath. Poseidon does not measure time in clocks, but in the endless circle of water's return to itself. Generations stand at the same shore, seeing the same horizon, yet each horizon is subtly changed. Children who once built castles of sand grow old, but the waves that touch them remain eternal. The ocean does not rush. It teaches that time is not a line, but a circle without beginning or end. Storms come and go, yet the sea remains, teaching that endings are only transformations in motion. Seafarers read time in stars above and currents below, guided by both sky and tide together. They knew that Poseidon's measure of time was not loss, but renewal, a chance to begin again. Every dawn at the shore feels like the first, every dusk feels like the last, yet both are eternal. The sea mirrors the moon, reflecting its phases, marking time not with numbers, but with light. Fishermen trust the rhythm of tides more than any clock, for it never lies, never fails to return. The sea holds the memory of all who have stood at its edge, each one folded into its vast silence. Time here is gentle, reminding us that nothing is wasted, all is carried forward into tomorrow. Poseidon watches not as judge, but as guardian of this rhythm, ensuring its eternal continuation. The waves do not ask who you are, only that you listen, that you recognize the cycle within yourself. Even mountains fall to the sea in time, yet the ocean does not boast. It simply receives and reshapes. Every grain of sand is time itself, a fragment of something once great, now part of something eternal. The ocean teaches patience, that true change takes not moments, but lifetimes, perhaps eternity itself. Those who resist time struggle, but those who flow with it find peace in the rhythm of the tide. Time at sea is not measured in minutes, but in journeys, in returns, in the endless dance of motion. It is a time that heals, for the tide smooths sharp edges, carrying even pain into softer shapes. Poseidon's gift is not to stop time, but to show us that eternity exists within every passing moment. To sit by the shore is to step outside of clocks, to feel a deeper measure of existence unfold. And as you listen, you realize the truth. The sea is not moving through time. Time is moving through the sea. The sea has always been more than water and salt. It is a mirror of the soul, vast and without end. To gaze upon the horizon is to look within, to see questions rising like tides inside the heart. Poseidon's realm is not only outside us, it is within, calling us to listen to the deep silence inside. Every wave becomes a thought, rushing forward, breaking, then returning to the stillness beneath. The ocean teaches that the surface is restless, but beneath lies calm, eternal and unshaken. Many fear the sea because it reflects too clearly, revealing what they hide even from themselves. Yet those who sit with its rhythm learn to breathe deeper, to find space where time does not bind. The sea does not demand answers. It offers presence, a place where questions can simply exist. To hear the gulls cry above waves is to be reminded that freedom is not possession, but release. Poseidon whispers in the undertow, not of power, but of surrender, of trusting the unseen currents. Each tide reminds us that letting go is not losing. It is returning to the flow that carries all things. The ocean knows grief, yet it holds it gently, turning sharpness into smoothness across ages. It shows that wounds, like shells, can be reshaped into beauty by patience and endless motion. To walk barefoot on wet sand is to touch eternity, to feel the pulse of the planet beneath the skin. The sea humbles kings and comforts beggars alike, for it sees no difference between them. Poseidon's gift is equality, for every soul is small before the horizon, yet infinite within it. Some come seeking guidance, and the sea gives none in words, yet all in silence and rhythm. Others come for escape, only to find themselves reflected more clearly than anywhere else. The ocean strips away noise, leaving only truth, both tender and difficult, but always pure. Every shore is an altar, every wave a hymn, every breeze a blessing carried from eternity. Those who pause and listen discover that the sea does not speak to ears, but to the heart itself. It tells us we are not separate, that like drops of water, we belong to a greater wholeness. The wave that breaks before you may rise again across the world, touching shores you'll never see. So too does every act, every thought, ripple outward beyond what we can measure or imagine. The sea reminds us that we are both small and vast, fragile yet eternal, fleeting yet infinite. Poseidon does not guard secrets, he opens the heart to them, if only one dares to be still. The horizon is not an ending, but a mirror, showing the endless nature of our inner journey. Every visit to the ocean is different, because we arrive changed, and the sea reflects us anew. It is a teacher without words, a healer without touch, a reminder without judgment. And when we leave its edge, the sound of waves follows us, echoing within the heart forever. The sea has always been more than water and salt. It is a mirror of the soul, vast and without end. To gaze upon the horizon is to look within, to see questions rising like tides inside the heart. Poseidon's realm is not only outside us, it is within, calling us to listen to the deep silence inside. Every wave becomes a thought, rushing forward, breaking, then returning to the stillness beneath. The ocean teaches that the surface is restless, but beneath lies calm, eternal and unshaken. Many fear the sea because it reflects too clearly, revealing what they hide even from themselves. Yet those who sit with its rhythm learn to breathe deeper, to find space where time does not bind. The sea does not demand answers. It offers presence, a place where questions can simply exist. To hear the gulls cry above waves is to be reminded that freedom is not possession, but release. Poseidon whispers in the undertow, not of power, but of surrender, of trusting the unseen currents. Each tide reminds us that letting go is not losing. It is returning to the flow that carries all things. The ocean knows grief, yet it holds it gently, turning sharpness into smoothness across ages. It shows that wounds, like shells, can be reshaped into beauty by patience and endless motion. To walk barefoot on wet sand is to touch eternity, to feel the pulse of the planet beneath the skin. The sea humbles kings and comforts beggars alike, for it sees no difference between them. Poseidon's gift is equality, for every soul is small before the horizon, yet infinite within it. Some come seeking guidance, and the sea gives none in words, yet all in silence and rhythm. Others come for escape, only to find themselves reflected more clearly than anywhere else. The ocean strips away noise, leaving only truth, both tender and difficult, but always pure. Every shore is an altar, every wave a hymn, every breeze a blessing carried from eternity. Those who pause and listen discover that the sea does not speak to ears, but to the heart itself. It tells us we are not separate, that like drops of water, we belong to a greater wholeness. The wave that breaks before you may rise again across the world, touching shores you'll never see. So too does every act, every thought, ripple outward beyond what we can measure or imagine. The sea reminds us that we are both small and vast, fragile yet eternal, fleeting yet infinite. Poseidon does not guard secrets. He opens the heart to them, if only one dares to be still. The horizon is not an ending, but a mirror, showing the endless nature of our inner journey. Every visit to the ocean is different, because we arrive changed, and the sea reflects us anew. It is a teacher without words, a healer without touch, a reminder without judgment. And when we leave its edge, the sound of waves follows us, echoing within the heart forever.